Hi, I'm Dan Danford. We're doing a series of podcasts called Money Made Easy here for DadsDivorce.com. Today we have a question from a reader about 401k plans. I'm in my late 20s and have never had a job with a 401k or had much money left over for savings. I've already starting to worry about retirement and what I'll have to live off of. What do you suggest I do to start planning for retirement? Perfect question for today. Used to be that everybody who retired basically had three sources of income. Number one, they had a company pension that took care of them, and they usually earned that by spending an entire career at some company. Then they had Social Security, which would augment the pension, and then they'd have whatever family savings they had. We called it the three-legged stool. Unfortunately, today's world is quite a bit different. The pension plan that used to be one of the three legs has basically disappeared. We no longer have the three-legged stool. Most people depend on Social Security and a 401k or family savings in some way. So the ability to save over time is an incredibly important part of retirement for most families. And the company 401k is the preferred vehicle for doing that. Now, if you don't work in a company that has a 401k, then there are some things you can do. The first thing is to look into using an IRA account. If you're married, then both of you can have an IRA contribution. And depending on family income and your participation in other plans, the contributions to that IRA are probably tax deductible for you. So you can each year set aside up to $5,000. This is in 2010. Another $1,000 if you're over 50, which you aren't. And that money, not only will it grow tax-free until you withdraw money from it, but it will actually get you a deduction on your income taxes. That's really important. Most retirement savings, the ability to compound tax-free is what makes it grow into such a large portion of money when you get ready to retire someday. So an IRA allows you to do that, and that's the first place to go if you don't have a company retirement plan. Now, depending on where you work, there's another alternative that's available to you. If you're self-employed or if you work for a small company, there may be some 401k plan alternatives that are available, and you may want to set one up if you're in a position to do so. Now, the thing about having an alternative would be usually you can contribute more than that $5,000. So if you own your own company and you want to set aside more than $5,000 a year, then look into an SEP plan or a simple IRA plan or any number of plans that will let you do that tax-deferred long-term compounding over and above what the IRA will do. Now, for many people who aren't self-employed, you can't do that, so you have to stick to the IRA. The third thing that I'd touch on is the key importance to the whole thing. The thing that makes this all work is the ability to do it on a tax-deferred basis. And you're going to set aside that money if you're going to do an IRA or you're going to do a 401k alternative. You set that money aside on a regular basis, tax-deferred, and it grows over time and it compounds. Now, you said you're in your 20s. That means in all likelihood you have 35 or 40 years until retirement and another 25 or 30 years probably after retirement. That's a tremendous amount of time. And most of that time, that money is going to be compounding within an account where there are no taxes due on it. That means that an extra % or two a year adds up to an incredible amount of money over time. It's true to say that if you could get an extra 0.5 or 1% on your investing on an annual basis, that'll amount to tens or 20 thousands of dollars when you finally get to retire. So just getting that extra 0.5%. That's why many advisors, when we talk to people about retirement investing, we talk about diversified long-term portfolios. I mean, one alternative that a lot of people use is to put their money in the bank. In today's environment, that probably yields 2 to 3% a year. In normal environment, it will probably return something like 5 to 6% a year. Now, I'm not complaining about that, But a diversified investment portfolio that includes both stocks and bonds will probably compound at something like 8+% a year. If you just want to get out your financial calculator and do some quick calculations, look at the difference between 5% a year and 8% a year over 25 or 30 years. It's very easy to believe that that would get into 6 figures difference when you actually retire down the road. So that's pretty much my little explanation today. 3 things to look at. Number 1, if you aren't eligible for a 401k plan, take a look at an IRA account. And if you're married, set up an IRA account for your spouse as well. Number 2, if the IRA account for you and or your spouse doesn't put away as much money as you'd like, and if you're eligible through your own company or whatever to set up a 401k plan alternative, an SEP or an IRA Simple or something like that, then you're allowed to put away more money, which will compound to even more over time. The third thing is to focus on long-term returns and don't get bogged down in what I might make over this 6-month or over this year period of time, because the time horizons here are very long. Focus on the long term, ignore the screeching heads on TV, focus on what's going to make the most money and compound the most over time, and you'll have a healthy retirement when you get there down the road someday. That's it for this week's Money Made Easy. We'll see you next time. Thanks.